Hi everyone, and welcome to a very, very unique episode of Consciousness Engineering. So with me is a truly remarkable woman. This lady is a powerhouse. Now, let me explain it this way. Reagan Hillier started her business when she was 19. That's practically starting a business as a teenager. And in the course of just a few years, she went from dabbling in entrepreneurship to genuinely becoming a powerhouse in her field. By the time she was 23 or 24, she was already a millionaire. Today, Reagan is only 28, so she's not even hit 30 yet. Yet her business is doing close to 8 million in revenue a year. She employs people all around the world. She specializes in coaching people to be their best selves and in helping people develop personal brands. But this is what makes Reagan really powerful. A lot of entrepreneurs I see can get incredibly successful at that young age, and that's great. But what makes Reagan unique is that she's built a business that is doing 8 million a year. She's 28 years old, but she's created this business in a way where it almost flows as an organization. So Reagan can truly live life. She travels around the world. She speaks at events. She pursues her passion, all the while having this engine of business fueling that without the stress, without the anxiety, without so many things that entrepreneurs face as hurdles. And she says this is about a number of things, one of which is her mindset. In a moment, you're going to learn how she thinks and how this thinking is so counterintuitive to how entrepreneurs are trained to think. And secondly, you're going to learn how she applies the energy of manifesting to make that business flow. And I'm noticing this in more and more truly successful entrepreneurs. When I ask them, what's the secret to your success? They don't just say it's about the strategy or it's about the marketing courses they did. They talk about manifesting. They talk about being in flow. They talk about tapping into spiritual energy. They talk about creation with their mind. And I want to open this up and bring these ideas to you. So, without further ado, let's welcome to the set, Reagan Hillier.
Thank you so much for having me, Vishen.
So Reagan, you just got off stage at Mindvalley University where you blew the crowd. You were on stage and in front of some 650 people. And at the end of that session, I just heard people raving about how you touched their lives.
Yeah, it was an honor. It was an honor to be there, and I feel like the Mindvalley tribe was so open and so available and really committed to doing the work. You know, I had people come up to me a day or two later, literally saying, "I focused so deeply in that one intentional manifestation, and it's already happening, or it's already happened."
And that's your superpower. That's right. Your superpower. And Reagan has trained me on this, and I've seen some really interesting results. That intentional manifesting, and it's a powerful deep dive that you guys are about to go through. Now, Reagan, everyone watching here, we've made your talk at Mindvalley University freely available to the world. So what we do, guys, is we take our best talks from Mindvalley University, we put it up on our YouTube channel, we put it up on my podcast, and the reason is we want to make this information available for everyone, regardless of your income or your ability to afford to watch this talk. So watch it free. But for those of you who are members, what we're going to do here with Reagan is go deeper and get to the next level of what she was talking about on stage. Are you ready?
Exactly. I'm so ready. I really want to take these guys behind the scenes and have them really understand some of the magic and some of the practical science that's actually going on with what happens.
So perhaps to begin, we could start with a quick summary of what you spoke about on stage earlier.
Definitely. So basically, I ran people through how to create their ideal reality. And I took them through a specific process, which I call energetic architecture. And this is really about how do you create the architectural structures in your energetic field around you through using mindset and thought and intention so that you can actually shift your reality so that your results then reflect out in your physical. Yeah.
Okay, and in that talk, you shared a couple of things about your background story. Just for the benefit of some people here who might be new, could you quickly share some of that because it is so inspiring?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I grew up in Auckland, New Zealand, and, you know, had an amazing family who loved me dearly, but they very much believed in education and following the system and going to school and working really hard and getting good grades. I did not grow up around, you know, high-level business or personal development or anything like that. And so I really just started following the system. And my dad always said to me, you know, Regan, if I had your opportunities, I would have been an architect. And so that's what I went to do, right? I started studying architecture at university, and And I remember this moment where I was sitting in a lecture theatre and a new lecturer came in and he got us to do a visualization, and I've never done anything like this before. He got us to close our eyes and he said something like, "Welcome, future architects, welcome to your life. I want you to picture your life 20 years out from now." And so I closed my eyes and I started to see my reality, and I literally felt sick to my stomach with what I saw. I saw the worst case scenario of being locked in a dark room, not earning the money I wanted, living the worst life ever, right? And I had this moment where I just knew that I was going down a path, and the path I was going down wasn't where I actually wanted to go with my life. And so I ran out of that room and I made a decision that I was going to figure out, why am I here, and then how do I get there, wherever that was. And I called my dad and I told him, and I said, "Look, I'm not going to be an architect, I'm not going to do it." And to my surprise, he supported me and he said, "Look, well, Regan, I want you to be happy." But he asked me one question. He said, "What are you going to do with your life?" And I had absolutely no idea, right? So I went to Dr. Google, because that's what you do, right? Google's got all the answers. And so I Googled, how do you quit your 9-to-5 job? And that led me to an ebook, which led me to a wealth creation seminar, which really threw me into the personal development world. Now, I went nuts on this, and I was at a point where I was over 6 figures in personal debt for coaching, for mentoring, for courses, for online courses, for seminars, right? Trying to figure out, how do I actually create a life where I'm not in a job and I'm happy, right? And I remember sitting there so far up to my neck in debt and saying to one of my mentors, "You know what? Maybe this life isn't for me. Maybe I'm not meant to be successful. Maybe this is for the other people." And he turned around and he said something which completely changed my life. And he said, "Regan, you don't get it." He said, "You've got it backwards." He said, "Success is 80% psychology, 80% the inner game, and then only 20% the strategy you then take on the outside." And I realized at that moment I wasn't doing any work on the inside. And that's what threw me into another side of personal development. I started diving deep into NLP and hypnosis and energy work and so many things, but using them in a practical way to actually generate results. And that's when everything started shifting.
Wow. So, and that's really why inner game is something that you're so passionate about. And I think this is what you're encouraging the people you mentor to really pay attention to. It's the inner game first, and the entrepreneurial strategies and the MBAs and the intellectual part second.
Exactly. And when you really understand this and you align yourself to be successful from within, the strategy is important. You still need the 20%. You still need to know what to do in your business, but it comes from an aligned place. So this way you can actually do less in your business and receive and generate bigger results, rather than be the person that's 80% trying to do everything and is just really busy and kind of stabbing in the dark.
Right, because if you're 80% trying to do everything, you don't have time for yourself.
Right.
And you've created this life where your business runs as a well-oiled engine, but you get to travel. And I'm always seeing these incredible photos that you share of you in Costa Rica, of you and your partner traversing the world, of the new projects. And it's so admirable to see how you have all of that free time to just create and experience life.
Exactly. And this is one thing I say to everyone I mentor and work with. I say, look, everything you're doing in your life and your business should be geared towards creating more freedom, not taking away from your freedom. And if it's taking away, then there's something not right.
So that's an important point, guys. The big mistake that many entrepreneurs do is they build their business because they want freedom. But what happens is building that business takes away their freedom, and soon they're more shackled down than if they had a 9-to-5 job, and they're hoping that someday the business is going to get sold, or someday it's going to go on autopilot, but that someday never comes. However, there are ways where you can structure your business right from the beginning to create that freedom, but this is what Regan is going to be sharing with you, and this is what I found. It has nothing to do with the 20%. It is the 80%. It's the mindset. And there is a spiritual essence to how this works that I want to ask you guys to be open-minded to. So Regan, in your talk, you spoke about the power of direct intention, right? And what happens when you apply direct intention? What did you see in your life? Like, are we talking synchronicities? Are we talking coincidences? Are we talking just fueling your own character traits and motivation?
Yeah, look, a lot of things happened when I started using thought and direct intention instead of being really unconscious and unaware of my thoughts and my intentions. And for me, the art of manifesting and the science of manifesting is really firstly through intention, connecting with something that's really almost in a dream state. It's like you're visualizing it, you're feeling it. It's like a vision or a dream, right? And then the more that you connect with it, the more that you go through the process that we're going to share with you today, the more it starts having vibrational resonance and it starts becoming alive in your energetic field around you. And from this place, it starts pulling forward into your reality. And you have this moment where when you deeply connect to this, you almost don't know if you're dreaming or if you're awake at this moment, right? It's like you're in this place where your vision feels so real that even if someone around you says, look, you're crazy, have you seen your life? Like, you're so far away from what you're visualizing, it doesn't even affect you because you're so deeply connected to it. And then the next layer is you wake up one day and you look around and you literally open your eyes and you're like, oh, all of this, I saw this, I dreamt this, I intentionalized this, I called this in, I decided this, I chose this, I did the internal work to align for this. Now here it is in my physical. And I have that happen every day in my life. People I meet, partnerships that I form in business, money that I create, whatever it is, it's not by luck or chance. It's literally like, oh yeah, this is what I chose.
Right. So how do you see that come to you? I'd love for you to do, Reagan, is I'd love for you to talk about the traditional way of building a business and your way, the Reagan Hillier way, right? Because you seem to generate luck, and let's have that open conversation. I know it may be going in a somewhat, for lack of a better word, a somewhat spiritual direction, but let's just be open about it because I think it's about time we had these conversations.
Right.
So what are the rules? What are the misconceptions that you see entrepreneurs making? What flipped for you and what do you see as a result?
Totally. And it's interesting because I see a lot of entrepreneurs making less money than me that are working so much harder, to be completely honest, and they're stressed out and they're busy. And when I peel back the layers with them and I start asking them some questions, I start finding that they genuinely believe that business is hard. They genuinely believe.
And I bet you they believe that it's about the hustle. Exactly. Or it's about hard work, which is one of the biggest lies in entrepreneurship right now. Exactly. And I see so many entrepreneurial Instagram channels, right? And it's about hard work. It's such a ridiculously awful idea.
Right.
So I just want to share this because if there's one thing we can do for the audience here is to disrupt that myth.
Right.
I just saw an entrepreneur coach on Instagram post the following. My competition asked me how many hours I work, and I said I work from 9 to 5. So they decided to emulate me, and they started leaving the office at 5. Little did they know that what I meant is 9 a.m. to 5 a.m., and now I've crushed them.
Yeah.
Do you see the dysfunction in that message?
Right.
Do you guys get that dysfunction? But this type of idea towards entrepreneurship isn't taking into account the soul, isn't taking into account spiritual energy. It leads to broken health. It leads to broken marriages. It leads to broken relationships with your kids. It leads to suffering. Your approach is very different.
Exactly, and it's also going to lead them to cap out at some point. And I have a lot of people come to me that are doing $1 or $2 million a year and they're stuck. They're like, my income won't increase and I can't understand why. And because they're generating to their max of the hard work they can put in, right? And so because their internal structure is wired that way, they find it very different to create a different result. So I'm really here as a permission slip right now to actually share with you guys that there is another way. And you can rewire your internal reality at any given moment to start to think differently. Your beliefs are just thoughts, right? And we can change them in an instant. And if we all of a sudden start thinking, well, you know what if business got to be easy? What if making millions of dollars got to be fun and easy? What if I had a belief that the more money I make, the more money I make automatically? Like, can you see how these structures lay up? Your thoughts become things, and then all of a sudden when you really embody this, your physical starts reflecting this back to you.
So give us an idea of what you see in your business. Like, what is unusual? What almost seems to flow to you with ease?
There's many unusual things in my business. I'll share actually a recent story. It was about a month ago. We closed out a launch online, and from memory, we did about $1.6 million in this launch that ran over 30 days. Now, we broke all the rules of internet marketing and how you're meant to launch a product online. So to give you an example, we spent in that total, we spent about $5,000 on Facebook ads, right? Which was actually just boosted content. They weren't proper ads designed by an ad designer. We had no sales pages. We had no funnels. We weren't on the phone with anybody. We didn't do it in a crazy 10-day time period like most people do online. We literally broke all the rules. And we did it from a place as a team, as a collective, and this is important because it wasn't just me, my whole team going, well, you know what? How do we do this in a way where it's fun and easy? What is the most exciting way for us to bring this product to the marketplace? And we started actually tuning in and asking ourselves, what would be really a fun way to do this? What would be exciting? And we trusted that, right? See how so many entrepreneurs would say, well, I'd love to do it this way. And then their mind comes in and says, well, that's impossible, and that's not a launch strategy I've learned, so I better go back to the strategy way. And that's when they get in the way of
And they're shutting off that intuitive flow. So one of the things I'm recognizing is that you're tapping into intuition. The other thing I noticed about what you said is you did it as a team. It seems that you're working on the energy, the mood, and the feelings of the entire team.
Exactly.
Could we go deeper into those two elements?
Absolutely. And this is huge because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs start understanding this conversation and they get it and they do the internal work and they start rewiring their reality. But if their team is not on board, if their team is not in the same frequency as them, well, their team is an extension of them, right? So all of a sudden there's a piece that's out of alignment. So, I spend a lot of time getting my team in the vibration of the result that we're calling in. I'm listening to them. Hey, what's fun and easy for you? How would you love to do this piece within this launch right now, right? And then I'm bringing to the table also, well, here's what would feel great for me, and we're finding out ways to flow with that, making sure that everyone's in the vibration. My whole team go through these manifestation processes. Why would they not? Why would I just sit there as the entrepreneur and do
So let's touch into that. You said your whole team goes into these manifestation processes. Now, on stage, you guided people through an intense manifesting protocol. Are you doing that as a team?
Definitely. We're doing that as a team, and then they also
Explain
have...
how that happens. Is everyone meditating together? Like what's going on there?
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. We do because our team is everywhere, by the way, right? So
how big is the team? How many people?
It's about 35 people, and they're in,
That's pretty substantial.
I think 11 different countries, right? So we're not sitting in an office. We're not all together. That would be a lot easier, potentially. But they're all throughout the world. And so we're connecting up literally on Skype calls, on Zoom calls, and we're having these virtual meetings where we're tuning in and we're connecting to the results that we're looking to call in. And I'm guiding processes, and then also my leadership within the team are also guiding processes, and then people have individual tools which they get to pull into. And we're really big on voicing something if it feels like it's not flowing. And for example, someone might say to me, hey Regan, look, I know we're committed to X amount of clients in this launch coming through, but I'm not feeling like that's possible. And I would much rather they say that rather than battle on with the steps, because I know they're not going to get to the result if they just push forward and try and work harder and do more. So instead we look at, okay, well, what's the resistance? What do you believe about this launch? And we start rewiring their internal reality so that as a whole, our internal reality is linked up.
So give us an idea of what that meeting might look like. So you have your entire team on a Zoom call, around 30 or so people.
Yeah.
You're discussing a business project, something that you have to get out.